Hello, and welcome to Insights in Action with Orange 142, where we interview agency leaders and business owners to uncover the journeys, the strategies, and insights that drive their success. At Orange 142, we're all about transforming brand stories into impactful digital experiences through innovative media and marketing solutions. And today I'm very lucky to be joined by Jeff of 215 Marketing. How's it going, Jeff?
Good, Shiv. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. Another day in paradise. Jeff, I would love to start this off. I just love to learn a little bit about your background and a little bit more about 215 marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. Me, myself, I'm director of interactive projects at 215, which means if we produce it, I typically oversee it.
Hmm.
Uh, it just has a lot to do with overseeing project management, putting together processes, protocols. We're involved a lot with strategy and planning, team building, that kind of thing. My background is actually more so in design with some like self-taught development. It's like a hodgepodge of almost like everything under the sun in terms of actually producing things for marketing campaigns.
Hmm.
Temple University advertising major, worked as like a freelancer for a number of years before I came on with 215. And I worked in that as a freelancer for a number of startups as well.
Hmm.
When I started at 215, they were very small, still like startup mode. So it was basically me and three other guys figuring out how this whole like marketing agency thing works together.
Yeah.
Our two owners, John Vogel and Garrett Gillen, are these just like really scrappy Drexel MBA guys. So they were just coming at this like marketing firm from almost like fresh eyes. Nobody really had a lot of experience in the industry. So really like we didn't really see any sort of like lines in the sand that are typical, I think, of more established advertising agencies. It's basically just, hey, if it helps the bottom line, if it helps the ROI, we're going to figure out how to do it. Yeah. So I got a lot of opportunity early on to really just figure out how the entire story works, top of funnel to bottom. And at this point in time, I'm basically overseeing a team of 20 people. We're producing everything from landing pages, ads, websites to fully customizable CRMs.
It's awesome. Wow. Okay. So we're good to know it's 215, not 250. I don't know why I read it like the time,
That
but
happens all the time. I almost don't even see it. Yeah.
yeah. Why 215? Like, do you know the origin story behind that name?
Yeah, 215 is actually the Philadelphia area code. So
Okay.
it's pretty simple. They just really wanted to come off as sort of that like that local firm when they were starting off. But nowadays it's lost all meaning because we have clients all throughout the US and Canada.
Okay, gotcha. And so 215 prides itself on being a no frills performance marketing agency. And how do you guys deliver or balance delivering immediate measurable results with the need for like strategic branding, which can be a little bit more, qualitative and long term?
Yeah, well, it's really just that. With a lot of our clients, the first thing that we're going to do is just like a full digital landscape audit and
Hmm.
really just focus on, hey, what's the low-hanging fruit? What are the missed opportunities here that we
Hmm.
can start filling right away or, producing an R.
Yeah.
As we're doing that, we're learning more and more about the client and we're like organically building out that brand presence and building
Mhm.
out that cohesiveness across the entire board. So it's
Thanks.
really all about just like starting small, starting very targeted, and branching out from there.
Yeah, I love that. Do you think that comes from a very ROI focus for you guys? I mean, does that come from your owners and their or your founders and their Drexel MBA backgrounds? Because you hear a lot about branding and all of that stuff, right? As you guys are doing, like some of these old branding agencies back in the day, they were like, hey, we don't give a crap about your ROI right now. This is about your brand and like very hardcore creative people, you know? And it seems
Yeah.
like you guys flip it, which is awesome. And I love that, right? Because I think that there is an ROI to brand and you should like agencies should focus on that because it's something that every company is looking for as an ROI because everything should be an investment. So do you think that's something that was like really from those fresh eyes that you mentioned, that's where it came from?
Yeah, 100%. Like definitely having that business mindset, that bottom line
Yeah.
focus sort of mindset. is really how we got established on this path. I think it was John Wanamaker said, I know that half of all my advertising dollars work. I just don't know which half. Right. So we're very much against, hey, let's stop like the thought experiments so much and really just put rubber on the road and figure out like, hey, what's the quickest point from point A to point B? It's obviously important to build that brand awareness and that brand story. There's always just like a lot of like low hanging fruit and opportunities along the way that we can capitalize on.
Yeah, I love that. That's such a good, unique selling proposition because I feel like companies come to agencies looking for branding and they do have that in the back of their minds of like, how are we going to produce an ROI from this? And so you guys are immediately like, hey, we're on the same page as you. There's already that trust built in that, hey, we've got the same goal here. It's to produce an ROI. What are the low hanging fruit? And I bet that's so valuable to your clients, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We also like to say our owners and a lot of our leadership, we all come from sort of like blue collar families as well. So we really understand what it's like to be in like a small business, be in sort of like a situation where you need to work for your bread, right? And you need to show your value.
Yeah.
Um, versus I think like some of like the more established agencies have more of a luxury of saying, hey, this is going to pan out in the end. We're really more about like showing immediate results as much as possible.
Awesome. And you guys, one of your key focuses is franchise marketing. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's
That's
correct. Yeah, that's just like a niche that we found organically through our network of clients.
hmm and what are some challenges and opportunities that you guys have encountered supporting both franchisees and franchisors?
So yeah, there's really two ends of it, right? So
Yeah.
the franchise development aspect, which is just like, hey, I'm a business owner, I'm a franchisor, and I'm really trying to expand. So we've gotten really good at tailoring that messaging and really finding the audience for the people who are looking to become franchisees. Your ex-corporate patriots, your executive level type people, and your entrepreneurs. And we feel like we really do understand how to speak to those people because we were those people, right? And then on the other side of it, it's wrangling it all in on the franchisee side. So what we notice is a lot of people are trying to do their own thing, which is good in some situations and can cause chaos in others. So it's really about, hey, here's the marketing playbook. Here's everything that you have at your disposal, a la carte, and just making sure that there's consistency across the board. And we're really tailoring that messaging to work across the entire network.
Wow, that's awesome. I bet those conversations are so different, franchisees versus franchisors. You definitely you definitely have to get in the mindset of okay, I'm talking to a franchisee versus a franchisor. But you guys come from a lot of you mentioned blue collar, so I imagine I don't know if this is true, but maybe one is easier to talk to than the other. Is that kind of right, or you guys have got your system down?
Yeah, it's normally like the franchisors are a little easier because they
Yeah.
get to see the entire picture.
Yeah.
And we're making like higher level decisions that are going to affect everyone.
Mhm.
We run into some pretty powerful personalities on the franchisee side, and it's like everybody thinks that their story is really unique, and it is. But at the same time, it's, hey, we're really trying to tailor a brand, and it's almost sometimes like wrangling cats. But
Yes.
in the end, I think everybody understands, hey, we're all working together towards a common good.
Love that. That's great. And so as digital marketing continues to evolve, are there any trends or tools that you're super excited about? And if so, how is 215 preparing to stay ahead in such a fast-paced environment?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, AI is going to be a huge factor for the next, who knows, like millennia, right? So we're trying to stay ahead of that in terms of like tools that can help us be more efficient and stay a little bit more cutting edge.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing is a lot of the different like privacy laws that are coming out. Australia just bans social media for people under 16. We and everyone else are going to have to start figuring out how to really start navigating this new world of, hey, we have all these new powerful tools that are really awesome for allowing us to target better and tailor our efforts to like more segmented audiences. But at the same time, we have to be careful about staying up to date in terms of what are the new privacy laws out there. I actually just had a consultation project with a client where we had to basically set up GDPR for their entire network of websites because they were branching off more so into Europe, and navigating that entire thing it's difficult, but if you can really master it, it's going to set you apart.
Yeah. Wow. That's yeah, AI, you're right. Everybody's talking about it. I know it's come up a lot on these podcast episodes, but I like how I like that you guys are still willing to embrace new stuff and all that stuff. I feel again, there's agencies that do, and nothing wrong with it, but they do get stuck in, hey, this is our process, this is our way, and we're not going to evolve. And it doesn't seem like 215 is falling into that, which is cool.
No, yeah, we're like pretty much the opposite of that. Moss does not grow right on this rock.
Yeah.
Part of my job really is to just constantly be looking for new platforms, new programs that we can start to incorporate. We are not the largest agency. I like to say that we punch above our weight for a lot of the big clients that we have. And part of that reason is we're constantly trying to push that edge in terms of, hey, where can we get the most bang for our buck? Where can we get the most efficiency out of our effort? Finding different AI tools or just like platforms in general that can really amplify our effort
Yeah.
is really crucial to that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a wise thing that you think of it in that way, because I feel like even very large agencies or very large companies, they get to a point where they're essentially pulling levers to where they can do what's the minimum amount of work involved on our end to make the biggest impact. And I think that's how companies really start to think about things. And so you guys are already doing that, which is really cool. Jeff, this has been awesome. Where can people learn more about you? Where can people learn more about your agency?
So you can go to 215marketing.com. You can go to my LinkedIn, Jeff Tish. You probably search 215 Marketing Jeff Tish. But yeah, 215marketing.com is probably like the best place to go. And we've been featured on a couple of different like publications as well. But
Nice.
part of our offering is search. So you should be able to search us on Google.
Okay, that's awesome. Very cool. Well, thank you so much, Jeff. This is a great episode.
All right, man. Thank you.